So I went to go do my blog this week and I realized I forgot to do it last week. So I'm going to make this kind of short and sweet. The biggest theme of 2 weeks ago for me was just gratitude. I talked to a lot of people who I'd known from college, who I'd met along the way that were in the same industry I was, and they'd fallen across some bad luck here and there. One thing led to another, which led to another. And the admirable thing is that, they're coming to me and they're saying, Misha, if you got any extra work, please let me know. They're not just sitting there and saying, oh, woe was me. Life gave me a bad deal, right? So I was really, really grateful to be in the position that I'm in. Unfortunately, I don't think I'd be able to give them a lot of work right now, but it was just, it gave me a sense of gratitude of, God's blessed me so far in my career, and, my determination has really worked out, but it also was a sense of humility that things could happen just like that for myself. So maybe I should start setting up some things to protect myself so that doesn't really happen. The other really cool thing that happened was I sat down with a woman that I knew from my Edge cohort. And I'm not going to use her real name. I'm just going to call her Sam for right now. And the funny thing happened was she sat down and she wanted to sort of pick my brain and see what it was like to own your own business, to really make that shift. And my story is a little bit different. I bought into a business that was pretty successful as is, so I didn't have to take a lot of that, risky jumps initially into entrepreneurship. And I definitely have since I've owned the business. There's been a lot of hard times and there's been a lot of risks that have been taken that have been successful and some that have not. So it was nice for me to be able to sit down and kind of quote unquote give back. The funny thing that happened through that though is she originally called the meeting because she was asking for something from me, and I ended up getting something out of it through the conversation of, and there's just that general giving back and being able to be of service that I definitely got beneficiary out of. But I was able to be vulnerable with her and realize that she had a huge strong suit of sales and making pitches. And that was something huge that I had realized I'm starting to lack on. So she's going to help me out a little bit here and there of accountability between, her actually making that shift and then me making good pitches and making good sales and trying to follow that process. So it was interesting to me that by me just being a little genuine and me being honest, I was able to get something I didn't even know that I needed. And she was able to get something that she didn't know that she needed either. So it was a pretty powerful meeting. I didn't expect it to be as much. I thought it, very much so to be very top level, but we both went in with a fair bit of vulnerability. And I think, we both ended up succeeding at the end of that. So it was a good week. So I know this is going to be hard to believe, but it is currently February 2nd. It's also 54 degrees outside. 54. Global warming is a real thing. And I don't care because I love every minute of it. We just got done dealing with a whole entire week of like negative to 10 degree weather. So I'm literally think Thursday was -2, and today is Sunday and it is 54 degrees. So like I said, global warming, real thing. So I'm enjoying the sun, and I figured I would take this opportunity to really hit on some things that kind of going on this week. So the biggest thing is, so I set out these goals for 2019. It's February already, and I'm already starting to feel a little bit of the quote unquote pressure or, not actually reaching some of those goals. And I know that it's only February, but, I hired on a woman to help me with some cold emails, and I'm not sure that was the best move. Sometimes I really struggle with the fact of Should I spend thousands of dollars paying someone who's been doing this for a while, or should I save that $1,000 and just do it myself? Sometimes I know where my weaknesses lie, and other times it's just pure laziness of, I feel like my time is used someplace else. So it really just depends, and I know that's a situation by situation basis. So we'll have to see how this all goes. But so I'm moving right along on our goals, and at the same time too, I have all of these dreams of what 2019 is going to be. But in order for me to get to this moment, to this goal, I have to have the expenses that helps me get to this goal. And right now in the first month, I don't have that income coming in that matches up to that expenses. So right now money's a little low, and we're feeling it, I guess you can say. I'm not worried whatsoever, but it definitely has paused me on, okay, well, I'm trying to get to $500,000. I need a $250,000 expenses instead of a $100,000 expense, almost, if that makes sense. So it's just interesting to me right now, where it's almost kind of like I'm seeing 4 steps ahead, and I'm at 4 steps ahead, but I'm not dealing with the second step that I need to take. And I'm trying to figure out, how do you take that second step but still have that vision of the 4th step that's coming. So I'm interested to see where it's going. And the other thing too I'm struggling with, and it's almost frustrating me and pissing me off that I'm even allowing this to take up as much space as it's taking my head. We currently have a office in Carnegie, which is the 2nd and 3rd floor above a belly dance studio, and a local artist that comes in and he'll paint from time to time. And I just feel like I need something a little bit more professional. So we're currently looking at the beauty shop, which is a co-working space, to have a dedicated office. And I'm just trying to figure out, is this worth it? What do my clients think of when we move every 3 years or so? Do they think, oh, she's moving and expanding? Oh, she can't make a decision. And I'm left with these pros and cons list, and I just need to make a decision and move forward with it, whether that be the wrong one or the right one. But for some reason I'm hesitant. I know that the beauty shop is going to get us to that level of professionalism that we may need, but I struggle with, do people really care about that level of professionalism? I mean, we're at 2019, people working remotely, offices are not as big. People look at offices sometimes and they like being schmoozed, but other times they look at them and go, I'm paying for this office by your increased overhead. So I'm curious to kind of know. And I think the other part of this too is, should I care what people think, or should I do what's best for my business, what's best for my employees? I mean, whenever I told my employees that we were actually going to go into beauty shop, one of my employees actually went, woohoo! So that should say a lot to me as well. I'm curious to see what ends up happening with this. Like I said, I just need to make a decision. I don't know why I'm hesitant to make that decision. So it was a really good week. Couple of roadblocks, couple of things I wanted to make note for myself to remember later. And the puppy dogs are seeing another puppy dog, so I guess that's my cue.